Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel, stitch.rach here on Flosstube and on Instagram. It is Friday the 5th of April and this is my YouTube channel about cross stitch. Hi everyone, did you like the fancy intro? Having been watching lots of other Flosstubers, I thought it was time to up my Flosstube intro game, so I hope you enjoyed me getting all fancy there. But nothing else has changed, don't worry, although I will try and keep the rather inane waffle that I indulged in on my last episode to a minimum. I've also had quite a few new subscribers, so thank you very much. If you are new, brilliant, welcome along, welcome along. What have I done since I last saw you? I've been to the Essex Needles retreat, of which a little bit more later, and it's now the school holidays. So I am currently just hiding away in the spare room, which is even messier than usual. Again, a little more of which later. Yeah, so hopefully there won't be any interruptions, but who knows. Two children are playing exploding kittens downstairs, which sounds like wholesome school holiday fun, but could break out in sibling warfare, so we will see. Yeah. I've got a whole pile of things to show you. I've got some finishes, I've got some starts, I've got some whips, so I'm just going to dive in because this might be fairly lengthy anyway. So yeah, super. Right, so since I saw you, what have I done? I have been working and finished this. This is the Celebration of Colour Sal that you've seen me working along on, and this is by my friend Ros Clark of Ros Clark Crafts. And I don't know how many of you watch Sew Me Sarah, but Sew Me Sarah was also doing this, and I have to echo kind of her thoughts on this really. She was saying, well, she started this and she thought she'd probably do the first few parts and didn't think she'd sort of just drop something. Drop one. Didn't really think she'd keep up. And I kind of thought the same because I am rubbish at keeping up with sales like most of us. And so it started, and then I was like, I don't really know what I'll do with the end product. But I have enjoyed this sale so much, and Ros did plan it really well. So towards the end, as the parts were released, they were only a couple of hours stitching in them. They weren't huge releases, they were like really manageable, you could get it done quite quickly and move on to other things. I've put so much time into this, not only this beautiful finish, which I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. I have some ideas, but I'm kind of holding that thought, and Ros has some ideas on her YouTube channel, but she also just put in these fantastic videos about colour and the science of colour and how visually we see colour, and I would just really recommend going and watching that series of videos. Even if you have no intention of stitching this, they're really informative. They will make you think about colour in a whole different way when it comes to your stitching, and I have just loved stitching this. They are still available free via Ros's Instagram page. So head over there, and I think she said they'll be free until the end of April basically, and then she's going to package it up and put it on her Etsy site as a chart that you can purchase. So if you think you might like to stitch this, I'd go and grab them while they're free. Go and grab them while they're free and watch the videos. And yeah, they're just really, really informative and entertaining, and actually I love watching Ros anyway. She's just really creative and fun and does things that most of us don't do with our stitching. You're not going to go and watch Ros's channel and see the same designs that everyone else has been seeing. So I would really recommend this, and I love my finish. One of the things I'm thinking of is a needle book. Those of you who have been long suffering viewers of this channel will know my FFOing it just leaves something to be desired. It really does. And I've just realised I've forgotten a whole bag of stuff. I'll pause the video and go and get it later. Yeah, so I'm going to pop that up there. See if I can... Yeah, there we go. But I really love that. And I'm going to try during this video to talk a bit about some of the UK Flosstubers. So I watched Rachel talking Dog Stitcher about a month ago, a bit under that. It was Mother's Day. whenever that was. And she did a video and she shouted out some UK Flosstubers, some of which I watch and some which I don't. And then this last weekend, Michelle Mama Loves You GB has got a really great list of UK Flosstubers on her channel and was saying we should make April the month of the UK Flosstuber. And I absolutely agree, because there's so many fantastic UK Flosstubers out there now. We are not beholden to the Americans anymore. And it's just fantastic to see so many new channels springing up and people sharing their stitching. So I am fully behind that. So I will try and talk about some UK Flosstubers that I enjoy as I go through this today. Right, so that was my first finish. I finished that 1st of April. 1st of April. Not a joke. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Can't recommend it enough. Even if Roz, there were some faffy bits, I have to say, some of these kind of, get it down again, on the junctions, like where sections meet, can you see all those like little stitches? And I can't carry my thread around the back. It's my problem, I know it's my problem, but when I was taught to cross stitch, your back must look good and don't carry your thread more than 3 stitches across the back, and I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it, and I know you can run it under and everything, I know, and no one looks at the back and there's no cross stitch police. I just can't. In me, I just can't do it. So Roz, there were some faffy bits there. It's my one complaint. But I really enjoyed it. It was a really good fun stitch. So then I moved on to my, well, not then actually, I finished this first, my seasonal projects, which are, if you have been watching me this year, you will know I'm trying to do one of the With Thy Needle and Thread wordplay charts a month. So January, I'm doing January, February, etc, etc. And so far I am on track, despite the doubters, Crafting Kirsty, who I thought the Essex Needles retreat, and maybe you know I'm good friends with Kirsty, but she was like, I didn't feel there's any way you're going to keep up with that. And I'm like, well, halo. But I did finish, my bottom's buzzing me, it's buzzing me. Is this important? No. So this is March, which I actually finished the same day as I filmed my last Flosstube. I finished that day. So in good time to return the charts to the friend that had lent them to me. And I now have the new charts, and so I am stitching April. So let me show you what April looks like when it's finished. This is what April looks like when it's finished. There you go. Sorry about the slight glare there. You can probably see some of the mess in the background that I'm trying to hide from you. Yeah, so that's what April looks like when it's finished. And I started this on 3 nights ago on the 2nd of April. And I'm here. So I've nearly finished the bunny in his cart. I have made a slight mistake. I've had to add an extra line in, because I'd added an extra line into the daffodil, and then when I came to do the bunny, it didn't. So the bunny's bum's bigger than it should be. But so this is stitched on. Oh, I didn't tell you what that was stitched on, did I? This is on a 36 count white linen, and on this project you pick your own colours. You pick your own colour wheel. Roz has a whole video about how to do that, and I think she does also suggest some colour wheels if you don't feel too confident picking your own. But I would say that that is one of the funnest bits of this project, picking your own colour wheel. And then you see how it works. I'm going to talk about this again, sorry. And then you see how it works in the different sections. And I'm pretty happy with my cooler side of the colour spectrum, which interestingly is the side of the colour spectrum that I'm more naturally drawn to than the warm side. I am far more a green and blue and kind of indigo person than I am a red, orange, yellow person. They're not really my colours. So it's interesting that that side of my colour wheel I feel happier with than the other side. As I've said before, my yellow and my yellow orange are too close together. But I love this section here with the black triangles where you can see kind of how the colours blend together. I love this section. I love a rainbow, basically. I love me a rainbow. So sorry, back on that for a moment, but that's what that's, and my colour selection was all DMC. Yeah, there we go. Right, it keeps getting worse every time I hang it back up. Right, sorry, back to my wordplay. So this is stitched on a 36 counts Y-Gart in the colour Flax with the called for gentle art, except. I'll put this on my Instagram. I had a bit of a dye-lot drama. Not drama, that's too strong, but it wasn't a drama. And Rachel, if you watch Rachel talking dog stitches latest, she is having a dye-lot drama with a piece she's half stitched, and now the dye-lots are just blah. Hate dye-lots. So I've got all the Gast called for, and we all know that Gast are notorious, don't we? So on the chart, I will put the chart back away. What have I done with the chart? There. Right. Look at those daffodils and the green on those. It's on focus now. Focus. Is it too much glare? Let me take it out of the plastic. And it might be the glare that's disrupting it. There you go. Doesn't want to focus, does it? Why don't you want to focus on that picture? It really doesn't. Anyway, you get what I mean about the daffodils. Sorry it's not in focus, I don't know what's going on. But the daffodils there, the leaves are a green colour, right? The called for on the chart is corn husk, of which I have this skein. Now, that is not green to me. That is not even vaguely green to me. That, if you're being polite, is acid yellow. If you're being impolite, to me that is wee yellow. That is not green. It is certainly not that green of the daffodil leaves. Nope. Absolutely not. I have never seen a daffodil with that colour leaf in my life. So I went to stitch it the other night and I was like, well, I'm not using wee yellow for daffodil. So I went into my stash and I pulled out Gast Green Apple, which to me is much more like the colour that is actually on the chart. But just be careful with your dye. Gast in particular are notorious for their dye lots changing a lot. So, and this chart is old. I think it's 2012. So it's no, not 22, I can't do maths. It's 12 years old. So I'm guessing the dye lots changed quite a bit in that time, but in no way was that a green colour to me. I think the war over exploding kittens is breaking out. I think I can hear it. Oh, maybe that was laughter. I think one of them's laughing and one of them's screaming. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to pretend I can't hear it. This is my secret to parenting. Just pretend you can't hear it. But anyway, so that is the colour palette. And obviously I am on track with this one as well. I hope to get it finished. Which one is it? Here. This week. But as you can see, I've got all the first four there. Yeah, I'm going to need a new piece of fabric when I get to May, so I better get over and order that. I get my, so I got just plain ones, the standard dye lots from Wool Warehouse, which I'll link below. They do pre-cuts. I find them quite, yeah, they're quite competitive on price, so I will go and order some more fabric at some point over the next couple of weeks. So that's that. So plodding along nicely with that. Right, what else have I stitched on since I last saw you? Would you like to see Cardinal points? Cardinal points is this one. So I took this to the Essex Needles retreat with me to do some of the border stitching, and then I did some more when I got back. It was funny how many people said to me at the Essex Needles retreat, we hadn't realised why it was called Cardinal points until your last video. Because all the four cardinals are holding the compass points, and the compass points are also called cardinal points. So yeah, cardinal points, that's why it's called cardinal points. And you don't really notice those compass points, I don't think, when you're just looking at chart, because it's such a busy chart. Can you hear that? Can you hear that downstairs? Anyway, so I took it to the Essex Needles retreat, which was much more quieter and peaceful than my home this morning. And here's what I've got to. Look at that. So I am definitely over the halfway now, which is very satisfying. I'm not 100% sure where it was when you last saw it, but I think since you last saw it, I've done a lot more of the border, which isn't fully complete, but nearly is, and it matched. And it matched. You know, when you're stitching down, you're, oh, I don't think it's going to match, I don't think it's going to match. It did, it matched. And then I think I've done that East Cardinal over there. Definitely done the North one because I did him at Essex. I think I've done this kind of flower basket here, and I've started coming up and doing the border. So I feel really good about it. I feel really good. I actually almost enjoyed stitching on it. And I am feeling really good about it, and I know now that this one's going to be a finish. I know it is. I know I am not going to take this into 2025. Oh my god, I just heard an ow. Right, I'm going to have to pause this and just go and deal with what's going on downstairs. Bear with me. Right, I'm back. That is why I don't end up recording in the school holidays. We will see how long the calm lasts. So I was showing you cardinal points. I think I pretty much said everything there was to say about it, but it is so pretty, isn't it? It is so pretty. I got so many compliments at Essex about it, and it will be done. It will be done this year. This is also on a 36 count linen. I'm stitching at 1/2, which is not my preferred strandage on 36 count. I usually like 2/2, but actually I think the coverage is pretty good. Pretty good. I think those squeals are squeals of happiness. They're playing another round of Exploding Kittens. And this is all the called for gentle arts. So yeah, pleased with that. Pleased with that. Pop it away. And the chart. Yeah. So did that. Then, for a bit of a change, so I stitched on that, I think all Friday and all Saturday at Essex, pretty much. And then on Sunday, I stitched on that all Friday and most of Saturday until I'd finished that one of the borders, and I was like, I've had enough now. And then I got out this that I'm about to show you, which is in this amazing Teresa Kogut bag from Penelope's Pocket. It's not Teresa Kogut inside it, I'm afraid. This is, what is it? Sampler in green and blue by Little Robin Designs. This is one of the ones that's on my Whip Go board for finish this year. I'd like to get this one finished. My sampler is not in green and blue. I changed the colours. But this is where I am. So at Essex, I just worked some more on the border. So I've very nearly finished that border now. I've only just got that bottom right corner to do, and then just the letters inside. So actually not a huge amount left to do on that. That could be finished pretty quickly. I think this might become out and about stitching shortly. I'm doing some out and about stitching on something else at the moment that I will show you in a minute. But I think this one will replace that as my out and about stitching now that this is finished. So I am stitching this on, I have no idea, what am I stitching it on? It's the 32 count Belfast linen in Fallen Leaf by Crafty Kitten Fabric, who are no longer in business. Yeah, and I changed the colours to a blue and yellow palette, and they are all Gentle Arts bar one. So I've got some Gentle Arts Old Blue paint, which is my pale blue. I've got a Colour and Cotton Crushed Velvet, which is kind of like this purpley blue, blue purple, as we would have said in the Colour Sal, the celebration of Colour Sal. Black Raspberry Jam, which is Gentle Arts. And then I've got some Brandy for my pale gold, and Baked Clay for my Golder Gold. And I'm really loving it. And yeah, again, hopefully this will be a finish before very much longer because it's nice big count fabric, nice easy stitching. The border's nice and regular, it doesn't suddenly like stick an extra line in somewhere, because we've all been in that position, haven't we, like stitching away on a regular border and you realise 6 billion stitches ago that actually isn't a regular border, and you just like, well, do I fudge it or do I pull it all out? So that was that. So I stitched on that a bit on Saturday at Essex. Oh, can you hear that? What do? Do I pretend I still can't hear it? It's gone quiet again. I'm going, still can't hear it. Oh, better put the chancel in. Right, and then what has become my out and about stitching is kept in this bag by Ness's Craft Room that I bought in Stitch in London. And this is a free chart we got at Stitch in London, but is now available for general sale, and I'm trying to find the cover page and failing. There you go, it is Twin Birds Pincushion by Girl with the Gavel Stitches. There you go. I had finished the top of this a little while ago, and I've now done most of the back. So the front's finished, back is there. I've done all the dark blue border, I haven't done the light blue, and I've been debating what I'm going to stitch on the back, and I think actually I'm just going to stitch my initials on the back. And then I started one of the side panels because it's a mattress pincushion, so all the sides are stitched and the back is stitched. It was originally charted with Stitch in London. I don't know what's on the back now. Now she's released it to general sale, because obviously I doubt it's Stitch in London. Well, it won't be Stitch in London, but I think I'm just going to put my initials on the back there. And I would like to get this finished because there's not a lot of stitching left to do, because the side panels are fairly basic. And I would like to FFO it because I feel all confident about FFOing things like Biscuit News now, because now I'm an expert Biscuit News maker. And it would be nice to have an FFO to show you. It really would. It really would. So yes, I am stitching this on Zweigart 36 count platinum. Quite like it. It's nice fabric. It's platinum. Again, from a pre-cut from Wool Warehouse. Seems to be a lot of my stitching I'm doing kind of on Wool Warehouse pre-cuts at the moment. Zweigart pre-cuts. That's hard to say. Zweigart pre-cuts from Wool Warehouse. Yeah, they're just really cost effective, and actually there is nothing wrong. Like DMC, there is nothing wrong with a good DMC. There is nothing wrong with a good Zweigart fabric. I know over-dyed's like super fancy and all the, or hand-dyed. There is nothing wrong. You know, if you just stitch on Zweigart with DMC, you are not going to get a bad product at the end. I'm stitching this with 2 threads I pulled from Stash. Having said all that, neither which DMC. I have a Gast Distressed Denim for the dark blue, and a Cottage Garden Thread Silver Fair for the light blue. And they're working quite nicely together. So I've been taking that on out and about stitching because it's just straight lines mainly. And that's the back. Maybe that's my back. This is what I mean. I'm paranoid about the neatness of my backs. That's the front. It's mainly just straight lines. So it's really good for cast stitching because you don't have to be like faffing with the pattern. And the border was nice and regular. So again, once you got into the rhythm of it, you didn't have to be faffing with the pattern. I like me a border like that. Oh, I should say on Cardinal points, I think I finally found a way to stitch these colourful leaves in the border, doing all 3 leaves without having to tie off somewhere at the back and come down. Because I say I can't stretch my thread around the back. I can't. I know it's my problem. I can't do it. And so I was managing to do 2, but then having to cut off to do the 3rd. But I've finally found a way that that means I don't have to stretch my thread miles, and I can not tie off at the back, which was a relief. So stuff like that. It's really little things that make a stitch more enjoyable. For me, anyway. Really little things. So yes, this one will now be my out and about stitching, I think, until it's done. And this one's on my whip go board for a finish as well. So, happy? Happy shouting? I don't know if you can hear this. I can. Happy shouting. Oh, look, I haven't put any of my patterns away properly today. So I'm doing loads of zip work. Sorry about that, if you are listening on headphones. And then the final thing I've stitched since I last saw you is in another amazing Penelope's Pocket project bag. And I am starting this with my lovely friend Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows on Instagram, and also another UK Flosstuber. And I bought this chart at Stitch in London, and I thought she'd bought this chart at Stitch in London, but then on her last Flosstube, or the Flosstube before, she reminded me that she hadn't, but I think she'd seen my copy of it and then went and bought it, and we agreed to start it together as part of her hashtag Fun for 50 sale that she's doing with the lovely Sew Me Sarah, yet another British Flosstuber. Go and watch her. I'm sure you are watching all these guys. They've all got way more subscribers than me. They don't need my shout outs, but they are really great to watch, and I watch them regularly. But we started this together on Good Friday. Now I did not get much of a start on Good Friday. So we agreed Good Friday ages ago. And then my son has his birthday. It was that week leading up to Easter weekend, and I had been at the Essex Needles retreat the weekend before, so we couldn't do the birthday party then. And Easter weekend, you know, is busy. But we did the birthday party on Good Friday morning at home. So I had I had entertainment, don't worry, there weren't just children marauding around my house. There was some entertainment. Yeah, so I had kind of 11 or 12 9-year-olds Friday morning, and then I had family coming Friday afternoon for Easter weekend. We're here all Easter weekend. So there's not a huge levels of progress on this, I'm afraid, Sally, but we did start it together. I think Sally's told me she's on her second hen or something. I am not on my second hen. And she started in the middle and I didn't. I started top left. But this is where I am. So I've done a bit of the fence, a bit of the grass, and part of the cockerel's tail is what that blue thing is there. Did I show you the picture? Yes, I'm up here. Really like it though. This one definitely wants some more love. Yeah. I'm stitching it on 36 count linen. This was Wygart linen in the colourway Bark from West Green Loft Yarns. Wrigley? Anyway, I'm in their Fabric of the Month club. That's a new Fabric of the Month club. March was the first one I got. But how amazing is that? How amazing. And I didn't realise kind of quite how, from the picture, I didn't realise quite how skinny the chart is. It's kind of long and thin. Let me see if I can tell you. It's Cosford Rise Stitchery, and it's 140 wide by 70 high. So it's like twice as long as it is deep, or wide as it is deep. So I'm wondering about maybe a drum finish. Look at me, like I'm going to make a drum finish. I've only got a half a cockerel's tail, not even a half. Anyway, so that's what I started on Good Friday with Sally for her Fun 450 sale to celebrate hers and Sarah's 50th birthday. I met them both at Stitch in London last year. And I will be seeing Sally again at Stitch in London this year. So a little bit of Stitch in London talk. I haven't actually checked the website this morning, so when was it? It's about 10 days ago that Marie from Stitches and Diamonds, another UK Flosstuber, released the dates for Stitch in London 2024. They are at the beginning of October, and those of us that have been before got the chance to pre-book, and then she released them for general sale. And I know from some other people's Flosstubes that weekend one, which is the one I'm going to, was definitely booked up and has a wait list. But the last few people I watched said that weekend 2 still had some spaces, but I haven't checked if that is still the case. But if you want, I'll link Stitches and Diamonds below and go over and have a look and see if there's spaces left. But if you are going to week 1, like me and Sally and my friend Crafting Kirsty and our friend Chris and a few other people, Crafting Kirsty has Flosstube as well, go watch that. It would be great to see you, and drop me a note in the comments below. Yeah, so that's Stitch in London. And then the only other stitching thing I have done since I last saw you is I have taken myself in hand. I've been thinking about this a bit on and off since my whip parade this year, and you know, if you've watched me before, that I had one piece seasonal streets that was a really old whip and that I just didn't have the love for anymore, and Sally Flossy Sews and Grows gave me a great idea that I could turn what I'd done into a finish quite easily, so I am going to do that. But there were also a couple of other things in there I was a bit like, One of which was a stitching book club SAL that I had started. So I was a member of the stitching book club. It was a SAL membership a few years ago. So you paid once and then you got all the SALs they released that year. I loved one of them. One of them I think was the Sense and Sensibility one, which I have finished. I'll show you that again. I have shown it on my channel, but I can show it again at some point in the future. And then another one that year was Little Women. I don't like Little Women. I don't like the book. It's really boring. I appreciate some people love Little Women and it's this like seminal work and, you know, really kind of, yeah, really emotionally means a lot to them. I didn't read it as a teenager. I read it probably in my 30s. Oh God, it's dire. I don't particularly go in for that like overly Victorian writing either. I studied I have an A-level in English literature. I studied Frankenstein. Oh God, I know that's not Victorian, it's a little bit before that. Oh my God. And I know some people love that as well, but oh, I hated it. It was such a chore. Such a chore. Anyway, so I took myself in hand about this Little Woman project because I don't like the book. Don't actually like the colour palette. I was stitching it on 40 count, which is no longer my favourite. And this is where it was. So not even that much work, and I have UFO'd it. I have unkitted it, got rid of it. I still have the PDF on my computer, but I'm not going to stitch it. I am not going to stitch that. So I will rip that out at some point, or maybe just cut it off because there's still perfectly usable bit of fabric there. But yeah, so I've taken myself in hand. So another project down, and I really don't like UFO stuff. I'm like, if I've started it, I should finish it because I loved it once, Cardinal points, etc. And I do still love it. It just is a faff to stitch. But that one, I'm like, I should never have started this. This was a start that was because I was in a club and the hype, and there's nothing about that if I'd just seen it in a cross-stitch shop, I'd have started it. So it's done. It's done. There's more screaming. There is more screaming. Right. A little bit of retreat talk. I've talked a little bit about Stitch in London, but since I last saw you, I went to the Essex Needles retreat, which was my second time going, and as always, it was brilliant. Teresa and Elaine, so Teresa Little Stitcher and Elaine Ellie Stitcher, both UK Flosstubers, go and watch them. Always do such a brilliant job. They organise a retreat and it is such a chilled out, friendly retreat. Cannot recommend it highly enough. I sat next to my friend Crafting Kirsty. I sat on the same table as Elaine, and Teresa's a little bit further down the end. I met April, May, June, Stitcher, which one is April? And Adele, Smurfette Stitches. They both used to have Flosstube channels. I don't know if they plan on reviving them, but they were good company. And then on my left, who I also sat next to last year, is the lovely Kat V Stitches, UK Flosstuber. And Kat, since Essex, has done a new Flosstube. So go over and give Kat some love because she is such a lovely person. And it was so lovely to see you, Kat. I'm really, really glad you came. Yeah, so it was lovely to see Kat. Yeah, and what else did we do at retreat? We stitched. I am a terrible retreat. So lots of people talk at retreats. I don't. I'm like sat there and glued to my chair, I'm stitching away because I just don't get that much stitching time at home. So, but it was lovely to catch up with some people and make some new friends and get so much stitching done. I didn't buy anything. I did win some wine in the raffle. Someone knew. Someone knew. All our tables seemed to win wine and not much stitching stuff. Yeah. Oh, and Janet sat with Janet, the lovely Janet Dodd, who is just great company. I think Janet probably did about 50 stitches all weekend, but she is such good company. I can't believe I temporarily didn't mention her, but yeah, love sitting with Janet. So yes, so that was Essex Needles, and the hotel's fabulous, and as I say, Elaine and Teresa just do a brilliant job, and I was one of the first ones in the stitching room each morning, which is a new experience. I think I was in the stitching room for like 7:30, 7:45. This is what I mean. I'm like, I am stitching at a retreat. I am stitching. Right, I didn't buy anything at the retreat because, as I said last time, I don't need stuff. In fact, today is my wedding anniversary. It is, we've been married 16 years this year, and my husband's, I said, after 16 years, you know, there's the romances, well, maybe in other people's marriages, but I said to him about 2 nights ago, I said, I have a confession to make, and he looked at me and I said, I haven't got you a present for our wedding anniversary. And he said, all right. I said, I just don't know what to get you. I said, I've had a couple of ideas, but I was like, I don't really know if that's what you want, and I don't really want to get you something you don't really want, and anyway, so he's like, oh, I just don't need to get me anything, it's not a big anniversary, yada yada. Anyway, this morning he brought me a cup of tea, and he said, I know what I want for our wedding anniversary, and he told me, I was like, fine, I'll buy that for you. It's not anything weird, he wants a Lego set. I suppose it is a little bit, but he wants a Lego set, it's nothing kinky, don't worry. Yeah, so I said, okay, yeah, I will get that for you. And he's like, is there anything you want? He's like, the only condition is it has to be completely frivolous and nothing you need. And I was like, oh. He's like, I'll get you some stitching stuff. I was like, I don't need any more stitching stuff. I really don't. So anyway, I don't also want, so I'm having a little think about it. I don't want for a lot. But I do have 2 little bits of haul. 2 little bits. So the first one is my new month of my fabric club from West Green Loft Yarns. This is the April one. And it's amazing. I hope this is going to show. I'm hoping it's not going to get blown out. But it's this amazing, like really pale green. Let's see if I put this fabric, discarded fabric from Little Women. That is, can you see that? It's this really subtle green. It's just beautiful. It's going to be great for like a spring thing or some Easter smalls. It's just lovely. And this is a 36 count fat quarter. So love that. And that's their April colourway. It hasn't got a name. It just says colourway April Fabric Club 2024. 36 count fat quarter. So that's what I got from there. And that is the only club I'm in at the moment. And then I bought the other day, so a couple of years ago, my husband bought me the DMC collector's drawers for my birthday. I did show them on the channel. And words have just left my head. And I bought the Pip and Chip acrylic bobbins to go in them. And they don't quite fill the drawer if you get the full set. And so the other day I just went and got the additional black and white ones, so you can get some extra of the black and white. So there are, there you go. So I got 6 black. So in this little extra set you get 6 black, 6 white, 6 B5200, so B5200, and 6 ecru. So you just got some extras of those kind of basic colours. So that's that. And that's all my haul. I do have something else to show you that I forgot to bring you that was a gift, so I'm just gonna run off and get it. So hold please, I'll be back in a moment. Right, back again. Right, there's not a lot left. So when I went to Essex, I was talking to a few people about my Afghan stitching, So if you've been here for a while, you will know that I have stitched a few Afghans over the years, and 2 years ago I finished a big Snoopy Afghan for one of my children. And I always get questions about this. When are you going to finish it? And I'm like, scared of my sewing machine. And everyone's like, just do it. Just do it. And I think I said in my last Flosstube, when I went to Rome, like a month ago, instead of packing, I was procrastinating and watching beginner quilting videos on YouTube. This is partly because basically how I'm going to have to finish this Afghan is semi like a quilt, and I've never quilted anything in my life. So I was watching these beginner quilting videos and messaging my friend Kirsty. And so she was asking me about it at the Essex Needles, and she said, have you actually done anything about it? And I was like, no, clearly not. I said, but I have a plan. I have a plan. And my plan is I'm going to buy a charm pack, and I'm going to make like just a little quilt, just so that I'm not practicing on my stitching. So like the first time I do it, it's not something that is just going to be disastrous if I get wrong. She went, I've got loads of charm packs, I'll send you one. I'm like, well, that'd be really nice, but you don't have to. Anyway, the first day after the Essex Needles retreat, I think she went to the post and she sent me some stuff from her quilting stash, because she is a good quilter. You should go and see some of her quilts. So she sent me this Moda charm pack. She said, sorry, it's not the most exciting colours, but frankly, it's probably colours I would have picked anyway. So I've got this whole charm pack of colours. And she sent me the backing material. She sent me the batting. And she sent me, I'm pretty sure she sent me the bias binding as well, which I now can't find. I'm sure it was in that bag. I'm sure it's here, so it might be stuck in the batting. It's somewhere. I've got it. I've definitely got it, Kirsty. I haven't lost it. Anyway, I think this is her way of saying to me, there is absolutely no excuse anymore. You have all the stuff, and I have sent you the stuff. So I am, when the kids go back to school after Easter, on a rainy day, where is that binding gone? It will be somewhere. I will not have lost it. It will be either tucked up in this batting, so it's all being shoved in this bag, so I have it somewhere. Anyway, that was like literally the first day back. I think I got it on the second. I got it before my son's birthday, because I initially thought it was a birthday present, because I'm like, what can that be? So that is from Kirsty, who has now given me literally no excuse. And actually, Kirsty, I have been and bought that walking foot for my sewing machine. So my sewing machine didn't have a walking foot, and my sewing machine is old. There are people peeping at the door, but I bought that walking foot. So when it comes, this is my first job, and because there are people peeking at the door, I am going to say that is all I have to say for today. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with me. Go and watch some of those UK Flosstubers I've mentioned. Go and check out the list of Flosstubers on Mama Loves You GB's latest video. And until I see you next time, hopefully in a couple of weeks, see you later, stitchers. Bye.